All right, here we go. There we go. All right, so our first set of notes for this week is going to be on what are called scatter plots. Okay, so we're going to be working into our business unit. So those of you that are seniors, if you've gone through some econ, you might see some of the same stuff in this unit, so that's kind of cool. But yeah, so we're going to start with scatter plots. Super short set of notes for you, and then there's a worksheet to practice. Okay. So what can we learn from a scatter plot? Okay, so what does our graph show us? So this is a scatter plot. Okay, so it's a graph where all your data are a bunch of points. Okay, so it looks like scattered. That's kind of where it gets its name. Okay, just a reminder, down here, this is the x-axis. Here, this is the y-axis. Okay, and then you'll find labels about which each axis represents. So in this particular graph, the x's represent our husband's age, and the y's represent a wife's age. So each of these little points in here actually represents a couple. It represents a husband and a wife. Okay, so for example, let's find one that's like kind of clear. Let's just go to this first one right here. So this first dot represents a husband who is, we'll say, like 32, and a wife who is probably also 32. Okay, so husband is 32, wife is 32. That's what that point represents. Okay, all the way over here, this point represents a husband who is probably like 78 or so, and a wife who is like 83, because it's over here. So this point represents a couple. The husband is 78 or so based on where it is on the x-axis, and then the wife is like 83 based on where the point is for the y-axis. Okay, so that is like a scatter plot. All right, notice the ages start at 30 and then go by fives. Same on both sides. You want to make sure that you have a good, like, you don't always have to go by 1, okay? And you don't always have to start at 0, because you think about it, and most, dropping stuff, like, people don't get married till at least after 18, right? Legally. So, that's why we start, this group of info was in the 30s. Okay. So that is the general shenanigans of a scatter plot. Okay. So when are scatter plots used? Also make sure you pause the video so you can write stuff down, so you can refer back to it later. Okay. And then when you're drawing your graphs, just kind of quick little sketches. It can be as perfect as you want to make it. Okay. So scatter plots show data with 2 sets of numbers as points on a graph. So our 2 sets in our one prior was husband's age and wife's age. Okay. So this is just an X and a Y. So it doesn't have a label, but we're going to look at X's and Y's. And so this point represents a 4 for the X and a 6 for the Y. Okay. So that's just kind of it. It shows the data with 2 sets of numbers. Oops, sorry. Okay. Scatter plots have what are called correlations. Okay. And so a correlation is like, what direction is your points going? Okay. So positive correlation happens when both numbers are increasing. So if the X's are getting bigger and the Y's are getting bigger, your points will go up, and that'll be a positive correlation. So if we look back, see how they're going up? That's a positive correlation. Here, from left to right, our points were going up. So husbands and wife ages have a positive correlation. Okay, because as the X's get bigger, so do the Y's. The dots go up. Okay. So that's positive correlation. As X's get bigger, so do the Y's. A negative correlation, you can probably guess, looks like this. Let me move my little video. Okay, so it's going from left to right. My points are going down. Okay, so you'll notice it says when the value of one number decreases while the other one is increasing. So x's, if I'm counting from left to right, my x's are getting bigger, right? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. So my x's are getting bigger, but my y's, when x is 1, y is up here at, we'll say 10. And then, but when x is 5, y is down here at 6. And then when x is 10, y is down here at 3. So the y's got smaller when the x's were getting bigger. Okay, so visually, the graph goes down. Numerically, one value will be getting bigger while the other value is getting smaller. Okay, and then there's one more type of correlation that a scatter plot can show, and that is no correlation. So it says when the numbers don't increase or decrease together. And so this will be shown where the points are all over the place. They don't look like they're going up or down. And then this happens when you have two sets of data that have nothing to do with each other. Okay, so for example, if I did like day of the week, so Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, Thursday, Friday, Saturday, and then the weather, right? The weather has nothing to do with whether it's Wednesday. Not all Wednesdays are hot, or not all Saturdays are cold, or whatever, right? So if I was tracking weather based on day of the week, it'd be all over the place, okay? So that's considered no correlation, and then that means that the data doesn't correlate. There's nothing that connects those two pieces of data that we're looking at. Okay, so with that, you guys are going to try the practice worksheet, and it's a PDF, and it has 2 pages to the PDF, so make sure you do both. Okay, the first one is just practicing a little bit of finding the points and what they represent. And then the second one goes into the correlation and using some sentence structure as to like what each piece represents. Okay, so have fun, good luck. And if you have any questions, make sure you hit me up on the Zoom. The Zoom at 11 a.m. on either Tuesday or Thursday. I put the info out on Remind every Tuesday and Thursday. Okay.